stagnation is real. Feeling stuck and stagnant is a real feeling because I think purpose gets lost. You'll be surprised how much a life without purpose and meaning can cause your body to break down and burn out. I think that we don't make the connection between faith and mental health because
Good day, good people. My name is Louis Gilly II, and welcome to another episode of From Good to Pro podcast, where we are helping creatives and professionals go from good to pro. And before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast here on YouTube so we can continue to grow this creative professional community together. And today we have an amazing guest where we are talking about mental health because we're going into 2026. So most people on their New Year's resolutions are talking about physical health and their personal development, but we really want to talk about that mental health aspect of things as you transition from good to pro. So we are here with Dr. Seneka Gaynor, and you are a counselor.
Yes.
Licensed counselor. And tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day and your profession.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It's
Absolutely.
An honor.
You know,
I'm so excited about this.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
for
a little
being
nervous,
here.
you know.
Yeah.
You do all my things, but I really appreciate this. So, yes, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, a licensed professional counselor. Those are all the letters, right? I'm a professor at Jacksonville University and clinical director in the Clinical Mental Health Counseling Master's Program.
Nice.
And so a couple times a week, I am training counselors, teaching them how to do what I have done for some years, and how to be ethical and clinically sound professionals.
That's good. That's really good. So when did you go from just being a regular counselor to a counselor professor?
Sure, yeah. So I spent, I'll say about 10 to 12 years in the field before deciding to get my PhD in counseling and counselor education.
Nice.
And I've worked in every setting you can imagine. So nonprofit, for-profit, in school, in home, residential facilities, behavioral hospitals, you name it. If you can think about it, I probably worked there as a counselor. So my experience is vast. What I found in my last job leading up to my PhD program, I was working overnight in a behavioral hospital, and that's when I really began to see a lot of compassion fatigue. Folks who have been in their helping profession for a long time, so it could be fellow counselors, nurses, behavioral techs, and the like, who have been in their profession for quite some time, and they were not responding the same way we might respond when we're a new professional. We've had some time in, we have seen these symptoms, we've seen these diagnoses, we've seen these people come in and out of this hospital. Some may be abusing the system or what have you. But I noticed that there was a difference. When we first get out of our program, we're excited to help people. That's what we want to do. That's everyone's answer to the interview question. I want to help people. And I was realizing after having spent a decade that folks didn't really know how to make meaning of this anymore. It felt like folks just were kind of removed. And when I would talk to colleagues just about keeping the fire, keeping the meaning, keeping the purpose at the forefront, you know, folks just weren't interested in that conversation. So I thought to myself, I wonder if this is a good opportunity now for me to be in a position to teach counselors how to be counselors.
That's good.
And not just what we do and how to have the skill, the art and science behind counseling, but also to have fortitude. And how to recognize impairment and when there's compassion fatigue while working in the field so you can have longevity. So it was when I experienced compassion fatigue that I realized I now want to be in a position where I can provide the education around this.
That's great. I mean, and that's something you don't really think about is compassion fatigue. And
Yeah.
you don't really think about counselors really just, just kind of burnt out a little bit, you know, and really getting that recharge and understanding how to get that recharge and what that means. Because we just, when you talk to your counselor, you just kind of dump stuff. And then they have to take all that stuff on, but we don't realize that they have to kind of recharge as well.
Absolutely,
too. So,
especially if you're talking to people who are bringing the same things back to you. And so in a hospital setting, folks can quote unquote abuse the system when they voluntarily, for example, admit themselves into the hospital overnight, not because they really have a diagnosis, according to some,
Yeah.
but because they need a place to stay. And so when that was happening and we were realizing that people were coming in, not because there was an immediate need psychologically, but their safety was at risk because their physiological needs weren't being met. For some helping professionals, that began to be tiring.
Gotcha.
It's repetitive. It's like, why are you abusing the system? Instead of thinking about it as if anyone needs help and they report that they need help, then they're really in need.
Yeah.
But the contrary is also true. If someone is being dishonest about needing help, don't they also need help then?
Yeah,
If you would
sense.
go to this length.
That definitely makes sense.
And so I think a part of shifting then from a licensed counselor to an educator was reframing. Reframing how I see counseling, reframing how I see the world, reframing how I see help. Because if I don't reframe, then I get stuck into what I've always known it to be. And when people abuse that, now I have nowhere to go. I can't shift because this is all I know it to be. But is it possible that we don't move because we don't know how to reframe?
That's a really good point because you don't realize that there's a mindset shift that has to happen.
Yes.
When you're, okay, I'm good enough to be a counselor and I know like all my basic things.
Yes.
And then if you just stay stagnant, you're like, okay, that's kind of where I'm at. But once you, to your point, reframe it and now I can take this to another level of teaching and helping other people.
Yep.
So I think that's really awesome. Do you think that happens or have you seen it happen in other professions other than just counselors? Like
Oh,
people you talk to?
absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think stagnation is real. Feeling stuck and stagnant is a real feeling because I think purpose gets lost, especially when you've been in something for a long time. And a lot of folks don't know how to do the work to shift. It's not just I up and do something different.
Yeah.
There's a thought process behind it. And there is a fine-tuning of the belief you need to have in yourself in order to shift.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You definitely have to believe in yourself to
Yeah.
believe that you can get to that next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times I tell folks it's important to center yourself, not to promote self-centeredness, because that would be different, but center yourself in identifying your unique values or your unique skill set. But a lot of times folks might know their values, the characteristics that make them unique, their skill set, and then hope that others see the value in it. I think a shift requires you to take time to center your values, your unique skill set, your characteristics, and you fall in love with it. You have to value your own being, your own identity. And once you fall in love with it, it won't matter how someone else sees it.
That's true.
You'll just be ready to give. And you can pour out of something you believe in, pour out of something that you've taken the time to love, not hope that someone else will love it just because you know it's there.
That's really good. That's really good stuff. I have like thousands of questions. What are some ways that you can practically, how did you reframe your mindset to take that shift?
I realized that I had skills beyond my academic skill set. I was trained to be a counselor and I completed all the requirements to be a counselor. But outside of that, the way I viewed the world was unique. And it's not that the skill or the concept itself is unique, it's me. And I had to learn that. For example, empathy is not a unique concept or term. But empathy is uniquely defined through me. Like I don't see it the same, which means I don't execute it the same, I don't teach it the same, and I don't practice it the same. So you can see empathy as just this thing where you are putting yourself in someone else's shoes. I see it as a lifestyle, a perspective, a lens, and the way that I imitate Christ. So if I am now seeing this concept that's widely known in these unique ways, I am now positioning myself to teach it differently and for folks to receive from me something they hadn't thought about.
That's great.
So that's a part of the shift. What is it about you? And take the time then to understand what that thing is, that niche or whatever it is, and fall in love with it. I had to fall in love with how I saw the world, because for so long, people that didn't understand me bothered me. I didn't like being misunderstood. And a lot of people do not like being misunderstood.
Very true.
And they won't say that because they don't know to say it. But I like when people understand me. I like when people give me the benefit of the doubt. I like when people even give me praise, because it makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing.
That's good.
When I detached myself or looked at the relationship I had to being understood, I realized that I also didn't understand me. I also didn't give myself the benefit of the doubt.
Wow.
And so I need to look at my relationship with me and see myself how God saw me, because He does understand me. He does give me the benefit of the doubt. So why am I not leaning on something that is constant and settling for something that is fickle and fragile? He is the solid rock. There's something very solid about His understanding of you. Instead, I was so fixated on the perspective and opinions of man, which is not solid. It's very fluid, like sinking sand. There's nothing strong about it. There's nothing that's consistent about that. And that is when I shifted. And I think for some, that's where they see the confidence and a little bit of arrogance, because I now can walk into spaces knowing that you want what I have. And I'm humbled enough to say, I will give it to you in this way. But I'm going to walk in knowing that God sees me, and I know that you want what I have. And that's okay to know that about myself. I had to learn that that was a strength.
That's so good. That's so good. And when you talk about like really, I guess, cultivating your gift, essentially, you know, really stirring up that gift and really investing in, that personal time you take to really see a different perspective, as opposed to just, these are the buzzwords, this is what empathy means, and this is what most people see it as. How can I uniquely give empathy from who I am and my personality?
Stirring up the gift, that's a good example.
So,
we say it all the time, but that's
because you have a gift as far as like seeing it from a different perspective. I think kind of seeing something from seeing something that most people see in one way and you see it from a different perspective, I think is beautiful, because now you can offer services or offer yourself or offer your gift in a unique way where people are connected to you. So it's not just I'm just showing up as commonly known to show up, but I'm showing up in a completely different way. That's creating impact, that's making connection, and those type of things. So that's great. And I love when people say, well, my favorite word is lens, because obviously I'm a video person. So when you see it from a different lens, like literally when we change lenses on cameras, the perspective is literally different.
Oh, that's good.
So that's why I love those examples of lenses. Like a 50 millimeters is from an 85, and the depth of field is different. Like it's a whole thing. I might do a deep dive.
Absolutely, it's a vantage point.
For sure. Absolutely. Because what makes you uniquely different is the lens you look at things from. So.
And then what you do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. You will know what to do with the lens that someone else doesn't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
like
really
you'll know what lens to use given the situation. Yeah.
So you'll know when to switch the lens.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Good.
Like there's certain lenses that we use that can only get 1 or 2 people in the shot. But if we widen the lens, you can get multiple people in the shot. So that's probably another sermon.
Exactly. Knowing what season to have minimal contact and it be you and a couple other folks in the Lord, and then knowing when to invite everyone in so they can explore and have access to your gift. That's huge.
Yeah.
And
then knowing how to use those lenses. So it's a whole thing.
Preach, Lewis.
Whole thing.
Preach. But
when we talk about like those buzzwords and things that people commonly know, boundaries is one of those words that people always use. Like I'm setting boundaries, but you're really just putting up a wall so nobody can come in. But I love when you talk about boundaries on your socials and stuff like that on your page. Could you talk a little bit about what boundaries are in your perspective to you and what that means?
Yeah. We have shifted to this space where folks now have language for feelings, emotional experiences that we may not have had before. We didn't know what to call it. And so when it comes to boundaries and folks using these buzzwords, well, in some ways I'm okay because empathetically I understand that it's nice to actually be able to identify what it is I'm experiencing. But knowing the words only will cause rigidity. We have to know, the power in counseling and anything that fosters change is processing. It's not just the concept itself. Just knowing what a boundary is so that you can keep what you need in doesn't help in executing healthy boundaries. Because if all I know is okay, boundaries help keep what I need in, then you'll make sure that a lot of things stay out. And that's all you'll do.
That's true.
You won't then develop healthy boundaries by having healthy communication. You'll keep the communication out of it and just say, don't do this, don't do that, in hopes that someone will respect the boundary. But what happens when someone doesn't respect the boundary? That's why the boundary is not for them, it's for you. And so if you have a boundary with someone and you say, no, I do not want to talk about this, and they talk about it anyway, and you engage, who violated the boundary? You. Because you set the boundary and said, I don't want to talk about it. But oftentimes we'll set a boundary in hopes someone will respect it. They don't, and then we're upset.
Gotcha. So,
Which means not only do we not know how to communicate healthy boundaries, we don't know with whom to have boundaries.
okay.
We just have boundaries with any and everyone, thinking everyone has capacity to respect it. I don't have that amount, that level of closeness with everyone where I would need to require them to respect my boundary. If I don't feel like you have capacity to do that, we're not that close.
Man,
I have boundaries and expectations for people that I know have capacity to meet those expectations. I don't just have, it's like saying you're just out and about walking and you don't want anybody to walk by you. Like my boundary is I don't want anyone on this street to walk by me, and I'm on International Speedway.
It's not gonna happen.
It's unrealistic. If they don't have capacity, they don't know a lot of times because you haven't communicated it really or communicated your why. But if you were in a position where you can control the environment, then yeah, you might, be able to have access to people who can say, you know what, I won't walk that way in front of you. I won't do that. Because I value what it is that you are advocating for, which is a need.
That's really good. That's really good. So I think oftentimes people communicate boundaries, but they don't know how to enforce said boundaries.
Right.
What are some ways that we can enforce boundaries, but it's not, I don't want to say aggressive, but where it's not like off-putting or things like that?
Yeah. Practice advocating for what you need. Like say it to yourself. What is it that you really want? It's not just you don't want to hear about their bad day. Like you don't have capacity to hear about their bad day, so I don't want you to talk to me about your bad day, I can't handle it. It's more than that. What is it that it really does to you? Why don't you have emotional capacity to hear about it? Identify that for yourself, not that deep reason needs to be shared with everyone, but identify that so then you can clearly articulate what it is that you need and practice saying it to yourself. Say, it is really hard for me to hear bad news. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to co-regulate with you. And so I might not be the best person. See, what I did there was place it on me. That this is what I can or cannot do. A lot of folks who enforce boundaries place it on them, what I don't want you to do. And that's not a boundary, that's a rule. I'm telling you what I don't want you to do, and that's a rule. Boundaries uses I statements and talks about what you can or cannot do, what capacity you have. And that just takes practice. It's language formation. It takes time and practice and patience with yourself.
That's good. That's good. One thing I overheard you say, this was a couple weeks ago on SMS when you guys were in.
Yes.
You were talking about anxiety and how it's a disorder or is labeled as a disorder. But you were like, I don't know why it's labeled as a disorder because most people deal with anxiety on certain levels. Could you explain a little bit about anxiety and how we can identify if it's you being anxious or nervous? Because sometimes those things kind of can blend together.
Sure, yeah. So I had a professor in my PhD program that said she doesn't think that anxiety should be a disorder because we all experience anxiety. Something becomes a disorder when it affects your ADLs, your activities of daily living. If you are impaired and you are so anxious you can't go to work, for example, that is when we're talking about a disorder because it's now impacting your life in such a way that you cannot do what you would normally do. And anxiety usually requires a professional diagnosing it because we want to know the frequency, the duration, and understand how often you're feeling this excess worry to leave your house or to be in certain places. And that's different from being stressed or being nervous. I mean, this is on a continuum, but not everyone has an anxiety disorder or generalized anxiety disorder. Some people just feel anxious, and a lot of times it's for good reasons. They might have experienced something and it didn't have the best outcome, and so trying to do that very thing again might cause some worry. And when it's rooted in reality in that way, it's not a disorder. We're talking about things that aren't often rooted in reality when we're talking about a disorder. That there's not reason for this level of anxiety, like going outside. Now, that can also be argued because while someone can say you don't have to be that worried to leave your house, just go, get up and leave. Others can say there's so much happening in this world and you never know. Things are so unpredictable. You can look in the news and see how much is going on. And so it's it can be argued either way. But one thing I just hope for people is that they're not self-diagnosing. If there is anxiety, if you are feeling stress or feeling nervous or whatever it is, learn regulation. That's important. Learn regulation and then co-regulation. So especially if you're partnered or you're close with a friend or if you have a child, it's me learning how to regulate my inner world, but also how to regulate with. Regulate inside my body, but also regulate with someone. Especially if you're in a relationship and you're not the one with heightened emotions, you can learn then to co-regulate with someone who is experiencing heightened emotions so they can come back to a sense of calm or ground. Same with a kid. If a kid is yelling and screaming and crying, naturally, a human being might also want to yell, scream, and cry so they can shut it off or calm it down. But what if you took some deep breaths and let them cry it out? Let people emote. Let people, children, whatever, do what they need to do to calm down, and you find ways to regulate in yourself so that now you're co-regulating with you and the child or you and the person.
Nice.
So that's the way to maneuver when we're talking about anxiety regulation.
Nice. Another buzzword that we hear, especially when we wrap up the year, we experience burnout.
Yes.
So when it comes to just creative professionals, like we've taken on a lot of projects or clients, and it's like, okay, I'm tired. I need a break. I need a vacation, but you can't really stop. How do you kind of, I don't want to say avoid burnout, but when you kind of see that coming on, what are some things that you can do to not be so burnt out at the end of the year and then transition into the new year or transition to just the new season or new chapter in your life?
You have to stop. You may not be able to afford to stop everything, especially if this is your job and you have to go to work, but you have to make time. If you are one who goes to work 5 out of 7 days and you are consistent or faithful, you need to take a day. You need to call in a sick day because this really is now a sick day. You need to take care of yourself in a day in 24 hours as if you have the cold or a flu. This is your mental health that is sick right now. And you're on the verge of breakdown. Your body is breaking down. You can't hold anymore. Overstimulation is getting to you. You don't have any more capacity for things. So you have to be intentional about stopping everything. Don't return the email. Don't return the text, which can be can torment people. Sometimes they can't not. With the double negative, but they can't not respond. And I know I've experienced that. I have to respond or at least get it out. But over the course of this year, it probably takes me 3 weeks to respond to a text because I experienced burnout. I couldn't go anymore. It's almost like running and then being totally out of breath. That's what burnout is like. You can't, your mind, you have the will and you want to run some more, but your body will not even let you go another step.
Yeah.
So your body's going to make you stop, or you're going to have to choose it.
Yeah, I saw a post yesterday. It was a meme, but it was hilarious. It was an entrepreneur. He was, on his phone, and then he dropped down to take a break, and then the meme was like, "Oh, okay, so you just want to be broke? Okay." And then he popped back up. And I was like, "Oh man, we go through that all the time.
Yes.
If we stop, then everything else stops, or, if we slow down a little bit, then." We're not keeping up to everybody else who's, who we're following.
Yeah,
so
until your
really
body
tough.
stops you. Then what? Like, what does that mean then?
Yeah, now you're really shut down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So to get ahead of it means being intentional about stopping before your body does it for you.
That's good. That's good. What are some practical things people can do before the burnout happens? Is there something that we can, I guess, working out or exercise or, certain things that we can do?
Introduce some balance. You need some time, of course, to nurture your body. So get some body movement, whatever that looks like, whether it's walking, jogging, going to a gym that has other people so you have community. You'd be surprised how much power there is in just being in a gym with other people. But also times to laugh. To connect with people that you love. Like find those times. So that's going to be important. That's going to be your push. Okay. Love has a lot of power. And that's why the Bible talks about it in the way that it does. It conquers. And when your life is absent of that and everything is about work and going further, you'll be surprised how much a life without purpose and meaning can cause your body to break down and burn out.
For sure.
You have to have some kind of driving force. And purpose and meaning is often grown out of a love for something and being loved by others who believe in what you're doing. And so if I don't take the time to hang out with my husband, who obviously believes in what I'm doing, and just kind of talk about maybe even things that bother me, get off script and just laugh about whatever, if I don't have that in my life, it can be hard to do what I do.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Even for me, like someone asked me, I think about a month ago, as to what do you do like when, you want to go, things want to go silent or you want to slow down a little bit. I was like, well, I don't really know, other than just, maybe sit and watch TV. But I'm like, well, what I really do to kind of recharge is I'll do stuff that's outside of just client work. I'll just shoot stuff on my own for free, just to fall back in love with what I do because I did it because I love doing it. And then obviously I got good enough to where I can start to sell services and things like that. But for me, I like to shoot stuff that I don't normally shoot. I might play with the camera. I might do stuff that's super left that you probably will never see on my page, but just to kind of play with the camera. I started doing more workout videos on my own. Now I'm like, okay, how do I position the camera in the gym to see if I can get this shot? Then I've changed the settings in my camera to see what the color palette could look like on the camera. So just really playing with different things just to have fun.
Curiosity. Yes, imagination. Yes. Absolutely. Childlike wonder. Yes.
Yeah. So we have a podcast now.
A podcast now, exactly.
So now I'm like, well, let me see what the podcast looks like and see how far that can take us. So I think that's really good. So when we go from, we talked about you teaching counselors and you have a book.
Yes.
For counselors. Tell us a little bit about what the book is about.
Yes, the book is called The Counseling Singularity, Empathy and Artificial Intelligence in the Art of Healing. You know I wasn't going to have a book that didn't have empathy.
Yeah, for sure.
in it. And that came similar to when I transitioned into counselor education. I found that in my profession, there were a lot of folks fearful and resistant to AI. Rightfully so. There's a lot to be concerned about. There are risks. We need safeguards and all of that. But on the other side of that fear, I realized was also AI illiteracy. If this is something we understand, then we know how to use it appropriately, soundly, ethically. But because it isn't something that everyone knows how to everyone understands, it's very easy to be fearful of what it can do to us.
Yeah.
As opposed to seeing AI as a tool that we manipulate. And so I, recruited some of my closest friends and colleagues to write a book about the AI, the basics of AI, just what it is, in really plain language, just so that you can understand. And it's, of course, for counselors, but really anyone in a helping profession, because not only do I break down the basics of AI, give some history and all of that, I then say, this is why it matters, and this is how you can use it. And I give multiple examples throughout the chapters. There are 9 chapters, and on how you can use it. There are tools at the end, so that one can feel confident in using it. You don't have to be a techie to use it, but to just understand where the power is most important, so that you don't fear that you're being taken over, but you actually have the power to manipulate the AI into what you need it to do and be.
For sure. That's what I'm really preaching to a lot of people. Like, when it's usually the older crowd, to say, like, look, this is going to be a helpful tool, and it's an extension of who you are, and it's not going to just eliminate who you are. It eliminates all of the mundane tasks.
Absolutely. And for millennials and zennials, I've been seeing that term a lot often, which is really funny.
I haven't heard that term.
Yeah, it's right in between Gen X and millennial. Like, there's these years, whatever. But for us, it almost feels like about time. We're the generation that had the card catalog. We were there when the floppy disk came on the scene. We were there when the World Wide Web came on the scene, right? And we have done the hard work. Our boots were on the ground, you hear me? And so now it's like, wow. Now we can access things this quickly via ChatGPT. We love this. We have been needing this type of assistance because we have, put our hands to the plow for many years. Not that other generations haven't, but we have seen this evolution in technology, which I think makes us, for the most part, I wouldn't say it's just unique to our generation, but for the most part, understanding of this new wave. And have empathy for a new generation that is just growing up in this. And for me, it was about not wanting to erase a whole generational experience out of fear. I didn't want to repeat what my ancestors did when new things came up. And that happens. Change is hard. Change is scary. But people were fearful of the radio. People were fearful of any type of technological advance. We didn't want the World Wide Web. And when I think about it, the Yellow Pages was wild. Because why is my name and number and address in this book for everybody to see?
Wow. I haven't thought about Yellow Pages.
Right. We have always been fearful. Now this is going to be on the World Wide Web. Now the world can see it. We've always been scared. And so the fear isn't new, but the way we approach this can be. Hence the book.
That's great. That's really good. And I'm really excited about just learning about AI because, like you said, it's not something that's so new to us because we felt like it's kind of like the next step of things. Because we've talked about this before, where AI has always kind of been here for Gen Z, like from Siri to Google to all of GPS, like all the things have already kind of been a part of what we do on a daily basis anyway. But adding something like a ChatGPT and there's a bunch of other tools.
Gemini, Claude.
I found this on the web for ChatGPT.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious.
So that's an example.
That's an example. And now someone who's fearful will be like, they're listening. They're listening. No, child, the tool is just doing what it's supposed to do. It's artificial.
That's so
it's not
perfect.
Real. Yes. And so you don't have to fear. It's not real. We created tools to listen, listen for patterns, and then give a result. That's all we've asked it to do. And it's doing it well, and people are fearful of that because they don't know how it works.
Gotcha.
But they're doing exactly what we needed it to do. So thank you, girl. I don't know if it was Alexa or Siri or who was it. It was, but thank you. Thanks, Siri.
Funny. So I think what's interesting now, and I like that you're really sharing stuff online about how AI is not a counselor. Like
Right.
AI is not going to help you do those type of things.
Right.
Could you please help the people? Let the people know.
Yeah.
Like,
So AI is going to do exactly what you need it to do. If you are asking it about your emotional experience, asking how to cope, telling the AI about what you're going through, is going to pick up on what you're saying, the patterns, is going to draw from a vast database and give you an answer. It's doing exactly what it was trained to do. And the fact that it does it well, it's just scary for folks. But the difference between a piece of technology being trained on a lot of information and a human counselor being able to pick up on nuance is important here when it comes to improvement, improved mental health, and the like. Artificial intelligence has a great way of imitating empathy, 100%. My ChatGPT does a great job of doing that, especially because of my input. Our output will always be different. It's going to depend on what you say to it in the prompts and all of that. But it doesn't replace what I pick up on sitting right next to you, or what I pick up on in session with you via telehealth, because I know what to look for that maybe the AI doesn't.
because it's body language as well too.
Absolutely. It's body language, it's nonverbals, it's everything that you're not saying, it's everything that you're avoiding saying. And AI is strictly looking at what you are saying and the patterns. Now, can it make implications, inferences, all the things? Sure, because it's a strong piece of technology. But it's only as strong as we make it.
For sure. When it comes to someone who needs actual help, they actually needs to sit down with a counselor. And I think my perspective was like, okay, somebody that needs help, that's kind of the perspective, I guess, in the community was like, you're kind of crazy, you're kind of going off the hinges, you need to go talk to somebody. I feel like that's not the stigma anymore. How do you identify that, okay, I need to sit down with somebody, just either for maintenance or for some help that's outside of, obviously, our devices?
Like, so how would someone know that it's time to go to a counselor? Yeah, I trust people's humanity. I trust, in some ways, I trust the body's ability to warn when they feel they're in danger. And so I think one can sense when things have been bottled up too long.
Makes sense.
This is just too hard, that I'm extremely tearful maybe. I'm finding it hard to do the easiest tasks. I'm crashing out often. I have an attitude all the time. My mood, I just can't get my mood together. It's always down or it's always frustrated. And those are just telltale signs, I think. Our body will let us know when we need a release.
For sure.
Because it'll feel like pressure in many ways. And especially if the way that you're behaving is not, if that's not who you are,
Gotcha.
if that's different from your personality, that's not something that's unique to you. Some people just, kind of just come off like that, and they're fine. I've actually met people like that. They're just like, yeah, I'm fine, but this is how I talk. Like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Probably like older uncles, things like that, just kind of aggressive for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And sometimes maybe it's not even for no reason, but I think trusting that your body will tell you, especially if you have a relationship with God, the Holy Spirit will also speak through you and help you when it's time to release.
I think that's really good. And then that's perfect, because I was going to ask, really, how does faith play a role in your mental health?
Oh, it's so huge. I think that we don't make the connection between faith and mental health because we don't see the Lord accurately. There's a disconnect in what God did for you, for you not to see this as a father who knows me emotionally. And here's why. We've talked about this before. The Bible says in Hebrews chapter 4 that we have not a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but at every point being tempted, sin not. And sympathy there for us usually sounds like, I just feel bad for you. And I think that's how sometimes we see the Lord, that he just kind of feels bad for us and he'll just help us. So he'll feel bad for us and then he'll fix it. Or at least that's what we want him to do.
Yeah.
But the Greek translation of sympathize there means suffering with you. And so to know that out of all the things that God could have done for salvation purposes, for reconciliation purposes, for adoption purposes, for justification purposes, that he would send his son down in a fleshly body that holds our emotional experiences, that it literally has our emotional makeup. Send him down in that so that he can understand why we do what we do is empathy at its finest. Empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes as them. Who else do you know put themselves in our bodies as us? And then send that. So if I have an accurate view of what he did, like what the sacrifice actually was, that you came down to live like me, be born like me, then surely you know when I'm angry. Surely you know why I made that bad decision. Because empathy says, I have been disappointed before, and I see you crashing out because you're disappointed. And so my disappointment experience is now recognizing that this is you having a disappointment experience and your crash out is not for naught. You're not just doing it for crash out's sake. It's because there's something going on. And while I may not understand the actual crash out, I do know what it feels like to be severely disappointed. Same with the high priest. He knows exactly what it means to be neglected, what to be left behind, to be, insulted. Literally, he totally understands that, which means even our faults we can bring to him. And so therein lies the intersection, the relationship between faith and mental health, that he sees all, he knows all, because he has done all but sin. He literally did exactly this for you so that you would know that he's not just looking down from heaven at your behavior. He is also considering your emotional makeup.
That's great. That's something you really don't think about. And I think we don't talk about enough really in the Christian space is like your mental, like God is, checking in on your emotions as well too.
Yes, and having them himself. He was angry. He was sad, he was hurt, he was crying. Jesus had emoted so much throughout his 33 years that we just don't think about. All we think about is throwing over the tables and being angry. But we don't think about those other moments where he wanted them to stay awake with him just a little while longer before he's going to give over his life, before my friend is going to come kiss me on the cheek, before they're going to start physically hurting me. Just for y'all who don't understand me. He understands what it feels like to be misunderstood. Like that's why, and that's why he came. It wasn't that happenstance, it just happened to him. This was all on purpose, just so you'll know that he considers and knows about your mental and emotional makeup. And he wants to be here for you.
That is so good. It is so good.
So why not have faith in a God like that?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, he knows exactly what you're going through because he felt it.
Absolutely. Yes.
He felt it. And not just, I think sometimes we are like, oh, well, this specific situation, God, there's no way. Like, I can help you too. In this specific situation.
Yes, because the emotions are the same. That's why people have difficulty going to counseling or even talking about it, because this specific situation you may not have gone through. Sure, that's possible, but the emotions are the same.
That's so good.
The underlying emotions, he knows.
I never really thought about it like that, to where, he understands your emotional state, not just your emotional makeup and how you're supposed to feel, but okay, how do you actually feel in this moment?
He may not have dealt with infidelity because he wasn't married, but he knows what it feels to be abandoned. It's the underlying feeling, and he knows.
So good. So good,
Mm-hmm.
man. I don't know where else to end. I don't know how.
This was so good, Louis.
Better. Thank you.
This
I
was so
appreciate
good.
it. This
Yeah,
is so much
you did a
fun.
good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're a really great host.
See, this is great. I thought I was going to be podcasting, talking to the camera, like, okay, look, guys. No.
Right.
I love having conversations with people. And then
Yeah.
when I first was at Cookman, I was doing broadcast journalism.
Mm.
So I was really studying how to interview people, but I stopped
Yeah.
doing that because I was just behind the camera and then I locked in. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know how to interview people. So let's sit down
Absolutely
and
you
do
do.
interviews.
Yes.
So this is good. All right.
Yeah, this is proof of it. You definitely know how to do it.
Thank you.
And you do it well. You do it at a high level.
Wow. This
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah,
See?
because it's not just the skill of interviewing, it's how
Uh-huh.
you make other people feel. It's the experience.
Can you look at that camera?
It's the experience that he
no.
creates
It's
for his
so
guests.
good.
Yes.
It's so good. I think when I was developing From Good to Pro, I was like, okay, I really want to step into a space to where like I'm a true professional at what I do.
Yeah.
So obviously just behind the camera I'm really good at behind the camera, but really how do you just develop all of those soft skills and communicate to people
Yes.
and make them feel comfortable. And I wanted to record myself yesterday helping somebody because she was on camera and
Yeah.
it's her first time. And I was trying to coach her through. I was like, oh, it's okay, you got it, you're good. And then we just kept rolling it and she
Yes.
became comfortable. And I was like, maybe this is a skill that I have that I can really help people
Absolutely.
feel comfortable on set. and
Yeah,
those type of
well,
things.
that's one of the tips and tricks of going from good to pro, isn't it? Transferable skills. You were already creating experiences behind the camera. You just had to walk around to the front of it and do the
Yeah.
same thing that you're doing behind the camera when you're coaching us on how to do it.
Yeah. What
It's
was fun-
transferable.
The funny thing is, I wanted to be in front of the camera because I was like, okay, why are people so nervous in front of the camera? They're good. They're natural. You're a natural.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh no.
Exactly. You're
My
like,
name is.
And what do I do?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So now
I still feel that.
I wanted to get in front of the camera so I can see how it felt for other people. So now I'm like, okay, I know exactly what you're going through. This is I've been through that, and I think that was the sympathy or empathy.
Empathy. That's what
It's
Jesus
empathy.
did. Yes, you did the same thing.
What would Jesus do?
What would Jesus do? Just that? He sure would.
That is perfect. That was perfect. All right. Well, I guess we can wrap up here. So that was this is another episode of From Good to Pro podcast. And thank you, Dr. Seneka, for being a wonderful host with amazing information. So I think there's going to be great takeaways here. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so that we can continue to grow this creative community together. And we will see you in the next episode.